Madangwa for hosting such an event for us. So the next thing to come, do not further not to school. I know where I am channel, so I go to what to do. Just to not stay on my uchienda kumiti kwa dance because I'm an artist. Artist kune hembe dzebasa dzabotaura dziya dzepase kune okuonekera kana uchienda pane vanhu handiti. Saka ndinotenda pane vambotaura kuti vatidzidzisa nyaya dzekuti kune hembe dzebasa nekumwe kupfeka kunofanirwa kuitika bali maartist ari kutadza kudirola from both the characters nedressing. Costume yabva uko yanga achitambisa makumba pastage ari kudamura nayo nekustate house achienda. Hazvisizvo zvazvinofanirwa kuve. Saka this man that I'm going to call upon right now is a very good example of how we should also dress. Kana tiri kuti tizive patinenge tiri. His name is Boniface Chimedza. So before he rises, before he rises, let me just tell you a little bit of Boniface Chimedza. Boniface Chimedza is a television actor. He is also a script writer. I know most of you know Tangled. You've watched Tangled. You've watched the Studio 263. Ruoko rwake rwaitonyorawo nepfungwa dzake akanyora Studio 263 angaro part of the writers akanyora zvakare Tangled ikubuda pa3 TV. Saka amuna kungounzirwa speaker je manyama aspeaker. Yes, also Mama Productions aitamirira kubuda. So watch out for This Time and Cassandra. Mafilms asati akudera achanga achibuda. And Boniface Chimedza angori munhu wokunzi madrama chete kana kuti akakashaya zvekuita. Aiwa akatodzidza akatoenda kuchikoro. He's a media practitioner. Can you clap hands for that? Yeah. He holds a Bachelor of Arts in Media and Culture Studies. Can you give a round of applause for Boniface Chimedza? Uyatozodzidzisa nezve-screen acting. Saka kune vanga vachitanga vane chidoka-doka, chivhurai nzeve, dziite sedzeimbwa chaidzo. Muri kubuda nezvenyu zviri kukusvitsai pamuri kuda. Thank you. Over to you, Mr. Boniface.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Eunice, for such a humbling introduction. I thank the organizers of the event for involving me in this very, very important event. It looks like an event. It was a good program and that's day one day, but actually, kumisikitwa kweprogram mucherechedzo yechinhu chinofanira kunge chiri ongoing muupenyu hweartist upi neupi zvake. Tisina kutarisa mafilm artist chete, but even kana ungava kumamwe magenres music, other types of craft and art, learning is supposed to be an everyday thing. Anybody who has a passion or a trade that they are passionate about, they should have a desire to make themselves better continuously. So without taking much of your time, I will jump right into the focal area that I was given, which is that of screen acting. How many of you, oh by the way, I'm going to make this more of an interactive session such that Kanapane and Emubvunzo, during the course of the discussion, they are free to pop that question Of course, hope is chawana ka allocation kashoma kema minutes emuvunzo, but as we are going as well, for those that are forgetful, anozoti ndinamuvunzo ndaenda kubvunza asi ndakanganwa ini. So if you have a question inenge very burning isingakwanisi kumira, you can show by the raising of your hand and you can share the question with us. Ndakada kubvunza kuti vanoziva chinonzi screen acting ndivangana, you can show by raising your hand. Okay. All right. I see what 2 hands, I think. Screen acting. It's good to be. You forgive me for using English and Shona interchangeably. Rurim wa mai wakosha asi. I also acknowledge it. Abas vesima no vanoshandisa Shona as their mother tongue. Tinema language 16 muno munyika nditi anonzi artificial. And my language is going to Shona, Vanandivele, Tonga, and also English. So for neutrality, check out the culture of the my presenters. No, Zokure make it Kanyana and Chimisikizo. Pamwechete now, Tishta Pasakura, and Akosha Shia. Do not pretend that we are very bang, my 4 runners. And I want to thank the organizers again. They are streaming the program live. They can also be with us digital. Do we understand what screen acting is? Okay. Probably we don't. Do we understand what acting is? Alright. I still see no idea. Do we understand what acting for stage or for theater is? Again, we don't. That's interesting, isn't it? Alright, can we show up? Please be free. So guy. Huh? No. Okay, here's the thing. We are going to discuss in this session together what screen acting is. So basically, the components of screen acting which I'm going to lay out and discuss with you are very, very simple. But I want you to understand the way screening is confining a particular type of acting to a gadget where you are able to watch the acting from. That gadget then has to have a screen from which you can see or otherwise watch the acting on screen. That screen can be a big screen, a theater. That screen can be a small screen, such as television screen. It can also be a smaller screen, such as the screen of your laptop or computer or tablet. It can actually be a much smaller screen, such as that of your phone. So screen acting, we are basically talking about acting for the screen. And the screen includes those gadgets and platforms that I have mentioned, but it's not necessarily limited to those ones. Okay? So I can tell us that screen acting is still a theater. It's still a passage. Acting a passage, what is the difference between screen acting and theater acting or acting for theater or theatrical performance? The main difference is that acting for theater is done in front of or before what is called a live audience. A live audience, you are a live audience, right? So, according to what the organizers are sharing with us, we also have a live audience that is with us through our Tutor platform, Facebook. Okay? So basically, if you are performing or acting for the stage, come through theater, you perform a stage or you performing on stage physically and literally, and you are performing before kana personal security, I hate you, Bonnie, or whatever. Okay, you are performing before a live audience. But remember, this performance is specifically acting. Okay, you are acting before a live audience. Screen, the so-called screens were not always there. Do you understand? But acting for stage has been there for a long time. Way before the camera was invented, the days of Shakespeare, they were doing theatrical performances. They were doing performance plays on stage. Okay? Before a live audience. And when they then invented cameras, that's why I'm not taking you through this chronological history of progression of events in the film industry or industries. When they then invented the camera, back then, their cameras were using what is called film. Okay, someone can say, so you don't know what film is. What are you trying to do? I want you to appreciate. Don't want to tell them who screen acting. I want you to appreciate why is it even called film? Okay. Why is it called film industry? Why? Where do the word film come from? So when cameras now, they had a strip of film or a strip of material. A magnetic material, I can run sort of words to play. Can bind the nowadays, we predominantly have digital cameras. We don't have films in cameras. We have memory cards and stuff like that because of the advancement of technology. But back then, your camera, so you would have to have a film strip inside it, on which it would capture and store the images. Okay? And then you capture and store those images. When the data for those images will be processed, either as still images, my photo, then mostly data are black and white. But those were the images. So they will be processed and taken to the studio, strip it into developed. That's a strip of film. And photographs will be printed out of that developed strip of film. And then the photographs. And then people will say, Tutor, my picture. They are taking photos. They all have Sasa ano udari kubula umekuti. When are the hard copies of this of the photographs going to be printed so that we can have our photos? And ano udari. That was a long time ago. Okay? But I'm saying, a film strip, a special strip of film inside a camera would be used to capture images, still images in photography. The same concept was used in capturing moving images. Okay? And ideally, some of you might not know this. The idea of film, of moving images, is an illusion. Because Madangwa in terms of the frames per minute, frames per second, capacity of the camera in capturing. But basically what it means is that if you watch a film, it's actually a combination of still images. And of the same thing. Saka the increases, so when they screen it, you get an illusion of moving objects and images. Because maybe the frequency can be 1,000 frames per second. So it's going to so when you see it, picture moving and so on, but it's an illusion. It's a combination of my still images. At a one isa, the second, the same thing, Tutor. On what? On film then, now they are
digital technology, right? So it became known as whatever we're doing, let us put it on film. Or they are performing a play, let us film it, let us put it on film. So it became film. Because a lot of people are acting for film. So a lot of things, because of advancement and modernization, would then be able to be captured on film. Including capturing events, maybe there's an event, the president is coming here today, journalists are coming, they're using the same technology, they're capturing the arrival of the president on film. And then imagine on the different other things that came, on a TV and stuff like that. But that's how your industry got to be called the film industry. But we are not talking about the film industry per se in particular. We are narrowing down to screening acting. Why am I saying we're not talking about the film industry per se? Because we are saying from that type of naming that translates we're no longer really worried about this film material object thing, because we are a digital generation now. If you ask those guys with cameras, they all of them have films inside their cameras. Yeah, memory card, Rasa. So what do you say? So advancements in technology has sort of also advanced, but of course the way that the film industry has protected and called the film industry, I don't think that name will ever leave the industry. Although technically that term no longer really applies, because the film itself is rarely being used. Yes, there are cases where cinema theaters who are still preferring screening movies on that those projectors which are not digital, which still have a film streaming. You can go on most of the theaters now. They have revolutionized and they are using digital technology. Are we together? Okay, good. Now, screen acting. So I asked them to touch on the fact that theater performance or theater acting is done by a performer or a group of performers or a person or a group of persons before or in front of a live audience. Okay? I'm sure a good number of people here have watched a drama performer on stage. The stage acting, right? So screen acting is not what we're talking about now. Screen acting. So by screen acting, we're talking about acting for film, we're also talking about acting for television, right? But we're saying we're also talking about acting for other platforms, particularly digital platforms, which might not necessarily be referred as film or television. And I use the word film reservedly here because of what I've explained. But of course, I'm sure you understand when I say acting for film, acting for television. Okay? Acting for film, we're talking about movies, I know whatever I have a big screen, and I'm not advertising. I told you about number platforms and Netflix, can I hear the broadcaster or broadcasters come out online or whatever, and I know my TVT, but it is in film. Remember the matter musical. Okay? Oh, the matter musical. Who knows why the matter musical pass through? Okay, so that's a film. A film is different from other genres of programming, such as documentary, such as comedy, such as a series. And so acting for film, acting for film, in a one, it's categorized largely. If somebody said he concentrates on acting for film, the impression that is created is that they hardly act for television. Although, of course, television obviously always sometimes screens films that we produce as films for film. Okay? So there is that very delicate symbiotic relationship between what we're calling film or big screen and the small screen television. But that doesn't matter. Because S01 is that acting, screen acting. what is the most important thing that I should know as an actress or as an actor about screen acting? What is the most important thing that I should know as an actress or as an actor about screen acting? I should understand the training. Okay? I'm glad that this talk has come after a very good foundation by the people that came here before me and spoke before me and talked before me. From screen etiquette, method acting and script playing, which means now the perspective that we are now expected to have with a certain audience that was there from the beginning to now. The perspective that we now expected to have at this stage is a better perspective. If I use word method acting, I then need not explain again what has already been explained. If I refer to script learning, I need not go back there, explain it again. Because what is assumption? You were here, you were attentive, you probably were taking notes, or even recording or whatever. But you're lucky if you were not taking notes. You could hasten and find ways of grabbing this streaming content for you to find it. I will also be giving out notes specifically for screen acting, okay? I don't have them printed, but we could look. This is a digital era, right? We can always exchange email addresses or whatever. You take my email address and then. But I also have a note. You could write your email address and then just send them. Look, the idea in these things is not to take you and get you to sit there and watch us rub on this and that and then leave you go. The idea is to put you on a consistent trajectory, launching or enhancing your already operating or active career. And we have idea to do something that can always stop swim of that. I am seeing a lot of respectable names within the audience and even Kuno, who are already peddlers, but not swim of deep end, but they are here. Why? Because they know that learning is an everyday process. And they know it's an everyday process. They watch and they learn and they say, okay, all right, they've learned one or two things. So if you are a beginner, if you are a raw beginner, you're very clever. We are very wise to be here. Because this is a rare event. Again, we thank the organizers for it. Now, there are basic tenets or basic principles that I'm going to share with you quickly. Screen acting is an art. Are you artists? I mean, it's interesting that amongst us in here, we have those that don't yet know if they are artists or not. Part of what I can do very quickly is to school you that if you are here and you are passionate and you are committed and you are interested, you are an artist. So you are an artist. So if you left home or your workplace or whatever, and they say that you are an artist, you say no. When you go back, if they ask, are you now an artist? Say yes. Yes, I am. What can we do for each other? Okay. So there are basic components of acting which are important. I will talk about what is called the art of relating. First, the art of relating. What is relating? Mr. Brown was here highlighting it. Apana Oscar. Yatatabu unasijazo zvazo yakapirwa kumakaita firimu ari wana chita ndoka zvose ndine mukadzi wangu ndine wangu ndine vana vangu ndine bosi wangu ndine mai guru ndine baba vangu futi ndine pastor vangu
my neighbors, all sorts of things. If it's literally impossible, why is it impossible to tell a story like that by yourself? Because film art, like many other forms of art, is a reflection of life. So producers, directors, writers, they endeavor to give a true reflection of life through film. They endeavor. Mark that way. A true reflection of life through the crafted art of film. Now, to focus on acting. So, what is relating and why is relating important? If you are in a scene with a person, relating means whatever that person does or doesn't do affects you. Whatever the person says or doesn't say affects you. And when you are thus affected, we ought to see that affection being beamed out of you through you. Right? Second, but Panama, Panamka, Patran, message about girlfriend, Baron bedroom. Asking I can wear a bathroom or whatever, whether it's institute or whatever. But I'm getting the message in Ruvalia phone, then she comes back from the bathroom, let's say. Let's say it's an institute, alright? So I'm going to chat and I'm going to talk. Look what I'm going to discover that people phone and did it. He's shaking his akara from bed. The wife comes back, looks at the husband, and says, what we are saying about relating, the art of relating, we need to see when the wife says, okay? There is a response that we expect to see from the husband. That response is usually called or referred to as a reaction. My director, I come to a reaction, I come to a the reverse short, come the reaction short, yeah, husband. But that ability to give a reaction or to respond to whatever the other character has done or has not done to you in a scene is called relating with that character. So how do you relate? You relate by reacting. Sometimes you react through facial expressions. Sometimes you react through dialogue. Sometimes you react through eye contact, which is part of facial expression. Sometimes you react by not reacting as is required in the script. Remember, you're shell-shocked, you're indifferent, you're puzzled, or whatever. But in film, you're not reacting is referred to as a reaction. Because then the not reacting will be part of the message that you are telling the viewers. That's the act of relating. So, whoever says a word to a person on set, we say they have given them a punch. We want or expect that person told something or spoken to on set or given the punch, we expect them to receive the punch. That's the art of relating. They absorb it. Sakabanzi, he can see okay, maybe I discovered. Alright. So maybe part of the reaction of the husband might be looking at the phone. Or others are all finished. Let us say, or whatever. Then reaction of the husband of not saying anything might actually be enough in film. mannerisms and gestures are done in a subtle way because we are saying we are mimicking and attempting to give a true reflection of life. But in theater, for now in this particular discussion, and Drungoita put aside so that to compare, in theater, we exaggerate certain things a bit to enable the audience at the back of the hall there to see with Boniasha Misika. Come on, Bonia Futuka. Huh? Oh, he. Come on, I was so that audience, you want to Vafanuka, Vatsama, Vakatinga. But in film, she can just look at him and say, she can just look at him and say, get out of my sight. There is nothing that you will do for the camera that the camera will miss. So if you are afraid, if you are nervous, the camera will not miss. If you are struggling to remember your lines, the camera will not miss. So the idea of trying to put yourself in a mode when we direct a course of action, I'm going to say, and then you sort of have a way that you're gonna perform. It doesn't work well in film because the act of relating, in that act of relating, there's a small component of what is called subtext. We'll talk about it but that basically is what the act of relating is. It means be aware of the environment. Why are you on set? For what purpose? Who is on set with you? To do what? Why? How? How does that affect you? So how are you relating to her or to him? Mainly role asimurume wangu mkomono wangu anazikaka leo wakashata sakaka ina ngamboni kulitikisa saka ironi vasha muna saka ironi saka dacha I mean I don't mind being the main actress. You know, they just have to remove the frog, get me a handsome person. And you heard that Brown did not have very kind words for that kind of attitude. Why? Because as much as you're playing yourself, in that you are not acting, you're supposed to be realistic, you are also not playing yourself while you're playing yourself. Does it make sense? You are not playing yourself. Alright? But you're playing yourself. So, the story about Gabriel, for example, has nothing to do with Boniface Chimedza. So if Gabriel is a vampire, or is you forgive me, I'm straight. Okay? Maybe Gabriel is not straight. So I'm supposed to be, having an affair or a relationship with another man in the script. That's Gabriel, right? But I'm not like that, okay? But it has nothing to do with me. So if you hear people saying, that's not me. That's of course that's not you. That's not you. You thought it was you. If it's Sheila, you cannot look at your never think yes, that's not me. Kana, Joguaga, and one of the Joseph, watch every single kissa, every single, that's not me. It's not you. So, part of why you are here, don't conjure up baseless expectations from writers and producers that somehow when they were sitting down in their office or bedroom or car, writing their script, they were supposed to write to you. So it's not you. Understand that. And while it's not you, also understand that if you quit the production, because it was never you, they will find another person to play that role. It's not you. You just got an opportunity to play the role. So what do you do to play the role well? How? We talked about the art of relating. There is what is called the art of not knowing. The art of not knowing. It basically refers to, put in simpler terms, behaving and operating as if everything that is happening on set is happening to you, one, for the first time, two, you don't know it and you never knew it in advance, three, you have not been expecting the unfolding of events. So can you write a script over and over again, problem ideas, which is John, I have aborted it. Right? I have aborted it. John is saying it's gonna create you because John you impregnated me before my parents don't even know you, so I'm gonna abort her. If you abort my child, I'm gonna sue you. I don't know how big you know that the child is getting your child. Right? In the story, right? Alright? By the way, abortion is legal, right? Then you abort it. It's very dangerous actually. It has to be done properly and with and there has to be a very good reason for you to abort. You should never terminate life. Okay? If anybody is getting anything here and they're thinking of throwing them away, please see me after this program. Okay? So in my example, you in the script, you abort it. Then you decide to go and say, then you go, your line is, I have aborted. So in the script, when you go and put yourself in front of your face and say, I have aborted. Just when you are I have aborted. In the script, I have aborted. It keeps it serious. Right? I think the script, I'm not about I think the script, right? But we're talking about the art of not knowing. As an actress, you know, you've read the script over and over again. But after I said the line, I've aborted, then comes, right? So the moment you go and say, I've aborted, and then you go, it's called preconceived action. Urukuzviziva kuti pandichauza John kuti aibva anondiroa but mbaba ngaiuya hayo because yagara in but let it not be seen that you knew that the mama was going to come when it came. Therefore it's called the art of not knowing. So when you want to have aborted, and it becomes real. No sakatati ma producers, EmmCuen, ma writers, ma directors. To give a true reflection of life in the form of the art of film. So when you do that, it's believable. Viewers will say, hey, because it's believable. So if after that clip you were supposed to cry, the crying is also supposed to be real. But if during the crying, suddenly John is caught in remorse and regret, whatever, story or whatever, it comes back to you. Maybe you guys embrace. Maybe when Buraba go Pukutanga, they know I'm sorry. You also want to show up and the right way you guys in the need of the moment. And then you guys kiss. The kiss, again, is supposed to be real. You are fooling yourself. If you're moving around town, say, my director, we some stories out, and my stories out, and I love Mkati. You know, this is a Kati, which is your Casta, Joga Casta, Madam Titi, so kiss our room. She's so. Imini pastori kipinde hiki jayo. Ya producer so pino mopi jayo. Mune basa. Asa na basa. Do you understand? Mune basa in sense you are there and ready to work with them. But when you choose not to embrace the vision of the writer or director or producer, hamusi sina basa no peace was. Ko kaswa. You are supposed to have the courage to immerse yourself deeply and fully into the role that you're playing. Okay? So we talked about the art of relating. It's clear, right? We talked about the art of not knowing. It's clear. In addition, before we move on to the art of concentration, but art of not knowing, you don't include the card. That's a typical example of what can happen in a scene, right? The act of not knowing also includes you as an actor or actress showing us that you are not knowing